You guys asked for it, so today we're taking a look at a very popular cast iron cookware set by Cooklife. Let's dive in. Let's start the video off with a simple unboxing. These are really unique because they're high quality cast iron cookware sets that are milled but still resemble that vintage design. And as you can see from the unboxing, the manufacturer includes quite a bit. Let's look at the first piece, the Dutch oven. This is their 5-quart bare cast iron Dutch oven, and it comes with 2 helper handles. Now next up, we're going to be looking at the 10¼ inch cast iron frying pan. This is probably going to be your everyday daily driver. The 10-inch pan has vintage design undertones. I really dig that. And up next, we have the 12-inch griddle. You get everything that was included in the last 2. Now, the griddle itself looks absolutely fantastic. I am very excited to use this, and I have some big plans. Today, we're going to be taking a look at their overall ergonomics, how they feel, how they perform, their non-stick features, and also the pre-seasoning that they all come with. I'll also be talking about their factory smooth cooking surface and why I think that this cast iron cookware set is the one to get if you're looking for something above and beyond.
So let's check these out real quick. So they feel really, really good. The form factor is really, really nice. They're actually surprisingly really lightweight. I really like the milled surface, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And the deep walls are fantastic. It's almost like a hybrid between a skillet and a saute pan. The one criticism that I have is probably the handle. I mean, I see what they did and I love the design. They're definitely borrowing from stainless steel. Looks like all-clad, but at least for me, the very edge right here is kind of sharp and it's kind of digging into my hand. So that feels kind of awkward. Now, the good news is this did come with a leather handle, a leather attachment. So that definitely does aid in the sharp edges, the sharp corners, and it's obviously going to aid with the heat. But now it kind of makes it awkward, like it's a little loose. It's kind of rotating. The inner diameter looks true to size. So I'm really excited to see just how much food it actually holds. Now, with that being said, let's use the 12-inch griddle and cook up some steaks.
Okay, so let's just dive right into it. There's a lot to talk about. I took some detailed notes just to make sure that I'm covering everything that I want to talk about in this video. And I think the first thing I want to hit on is seasoning. So this does come pre-seasoned. You guys are probably very familiar with pre-seasoned pans. Cooklife does the same thing. However, I will say that I feel, at least from the factory, Cooklife's pre-seasoning does feel a little bit more like organic. It does feel a little more durable. I did add in some oil and just kind of heat it on the stovetop a little bit until it kind of smoked. When I was using the stock pot, we did some cream chicken, right? And part of the process of making the sauce is deglazing it with white wine vinegar. As you guys know, acidic foods, acidity kills seasoning. There's no seasoning that was tripping off, stripping, anything like that. So the pre-seasoning is very, very good. If you feel like you need to add more seasoning, by all means, do so. I don't think you should go overkill. And I mean, I know people do like 8 layers of seasoning. You don't need any of that. The next natural thing to talk about is when it comes to seasoning is, well, was it non-stick? And for some reason, everybody really loves doing the egg test. So I figured I would do the egg test, but I want you guys to really pay attention to the cooking process, right? As I cooked other things, like the chicken, for example, when we were searing the chicken or the steak or whatever, as we were cooking along, it was extremely non-stick. I mean, it was just like any other cast iron pan. Now, back to the egg test though. I did do an egg test right out of the box. And the first time I did the egg test, it was fine actually. It was just as I would expect, right? Managed my temperatures and all that. And I do have to admit, I haven't used cast iron pans in a really long time. I actually gave away all of my Lodge cast iron pans. And then I was like, all right, let's have someone else try an egg test. So had my wife do it and it stuck. And then I did it again and it stuck again. It was sticky. So that's actually normal. The next egg was fine, and then after that it was just fine. So yeah, it stuck initially, but the more you use it, the better it gets, and that's the beauty of cast iron. And that's why it's important to focus on other things, like when we cook chicken or pancakes or even a juicy steak. The pans performed flawlessly. A new pan can stick due to many different factors, but as you use them, they get better and better. So I really did try to use the Cooklife cast iron products as much as possible. I found that they act a lot like traditional cast iron pans, but also somewhere in the middle between cast iron and carbon steel. For example, when we're preheating them or warming them up, I used my gauges to see how fast they're heating up and so forth. Slightly faster than like a traditional cast iron pan like Lodge, for example, but not as fast as like carbon steel or stainless steel, somewhere in the middle. And likewise, they retain heat extremely well. When we made the creamy chicken, which was fantastic by the way, the Dutch oven performed flawlessly. When we seared the chicken, it gave us that golden brown skin. We got the perfect Maillard reaction or browning. Everything was non-stick. We even deglazed the pan with white wine vinegar and added in our cream sauce, all that stuff. It all worked flawlessly. One of the big benefits of cast iron is they're almost indestructible. I mean, you could take this to like a campfire and cook your meal, right? You can take it camping with you. And that's another thing that I just miss, right? Like I used it to just saute some vegetables on my Weber Summit Kamado over some hot charcoal. So let's talk about the other thing, the smooth surface. I absolutely love this feature. This is like a huge selling point for me. I'm a big fan of smooth surfaces on cast iron, carbon steel. All the Lodge pans that I got that were my personal pans to use, cast iron pans, I always sanded their surfaces. I don't like how rough the surface finish is from Lodge. One of the arguments is, well, a rough surface finish will accept seasoning a lot better because of the pores. And I can understand that argument, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is my personal preference, I like a smooth surface. That is going to cost you though. That's why these pans are more. This is a great alternative to those really high-end cast iron skillets and a step up in my opinion than Lodge, while giving you a true like old timer, like antique cast iron skillet. So really love the smooth surface. This is a huge selling point for me. So let's talk about each of these guys. So we'll start off with the one that I have in my hand right now, which is their Skillet. I believe this is 10 1/4. This is going to be your daily driver. This is going to be the majority of what you're going to be cooking on. Now they do also offer a 12-inch version of this. If you want to grow as a cook, definitely recommend getting the 12-inch skillet. And if you can wing it, having a 10 and a 12 is fantastic. Now the next thing for me is this 12-inch griddle. I can't wait to make a pizza in this thing. It's gonna be perfect for a thin crust pizza. Anyways, you're gonna get the helper handles on the side. It gets extremely hot, but I feel like this is the perfect size for pizza and just breakfast for maybe 1 or 2 people. Now the last one is the stock pot. I don't have it here with me because we actually just used it for dinner, so it's still hot and the food's still in there. Those of you that have been following me, you know that I love Dutch ovens. It's just, there's something about a cast iron pot that just rivals everything else. Highly recommend you get one. So let's talk about cleanup. Cleanup is exactly as you would expect with any cast iron pot or pan. Yes, sometimes you're gonna get a sticky mess, but the manufacturer also includes a cleaning kit in case you need it, which just basically has like a scraper and a mesh or a cloth that you can use to kind of scrape down the pan. I made a ton of videos about cleaning cast iron and the myth behind soap, which originally contained lye, which would strip the seasoning, but modern day dish soap is extremely gentle and I have zero worries about stripping the seasoning. The pots and pans cleaned up very nicely. Even when we had a bunch of sticky eggs left over from the egg test, I mean, just using a plastic brush with some soap and warm water took care of it. I mean, there was no issues whatsoever. Okay, so what are some things that I would like to see the manufacturer do to improve on their products? I think they're a new manufacturer, so right now there isn't really a whole lot of products to choose from. I mean, you get your 10-inch skillet, your 12-inch skillet, the griddle, and then the Dutch oven. I would like to see them expand a little bit more, maybe offer different sizes. I'd love to see an enameled line. I think that'd be fantastic. If they keep the same design that they have here, this like vintage look, but add in an enameled version of this, I think that'd be really cool, an enameled version of the Dutch oven. If I had one criticism, it would be that the handle, maybe take a look at the handle. Mine in particular did have some sharp corners at the end. It just kind of digs into your palm. So with all that being said, what are my final thoughts on Cooklife? How does their cast iron pots and pans hold up? Are they absolutely needed? No, they're not. You can probably do just fine with Lodge at a much cheaper price. However, if you are really into cast iron or you want a premium set, then the Cooklife cast iron set is much better than Lodge. They definitely feel more high-end, more antique, and it's definitely something that I would hand down to future generations. And the performance is all there without really breaking the bank when you get into this like premium cast iron market, right? So overall, I think they're really, really nice, and I would highly recommend them. I mean, if you're looking for a nice cast iron set, then I think this is the one to go with. So if you are interested, I will leave a link in the description below with the coupon code so you can buy one for yourself. That's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative, and if you did, please consider subscribing and joining our channel memberships. I'll catch you on the next video.
Do you like them?
Yep.
What do you think of the pan?
This one looks so brown and this one looks so blue. I like them.
Yeah, you like blue and brown? Are they heavy?
I like the colors in there.
Yeah, do they look nice?
Yep.
What are we gonna cook on them today?
We're gonna cook some cakes today.
Some steaks? Wow, okay, cool. All right, get to it.